It's the Game Out Loud podcast coming to you. It's Rob, Jordan, and Dylan, and sometimes Colin too. It's everything about games you want to know. Thanks for listening to the show. It's the Game Out Loud podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 161st episode of the Game Out Loud podcast, the one and only podcast for bagofgames.com. I'm your host for the week, Rob Peterson. And joining me, as always, is my good dear friend, the delightful Dylan Smith.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Just doing a podcast.
All right.
I think that's what we're here for. Maybe this
Sometimes.
guy knows. This scraggly, smelly guy over here. Maybe he knows. Jordan.
That's no way to talk about. Oh, damn it. Yeah, guys, hey, what's up? I'm back. Sorry I've been gone for so long, but I'm glad to be back and looking forward to more podcasts from here on out.
Yes. I missed last week. I can take a hint, Jordan. Sorry.
Some of us have what's called dedication, Rob.
I was at Salt Lake Comic-Con, walking around, standing in an absurdly long line to buy fucking lightsabers and then giving up and not even buying one.
Oh, I was going to say, did you get
Why
one?
didn't you just get a regular one?
No.
Opposed to what? A real one?
I don't understand the question.
Lightsaber. I was just saying he should get a regular one. I think mixing sex and lightsabers could get a little awkward and not to mention dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want to play lightsabers with him. That's what you're saying.
I see your Schwartz is as long as mine.
Don't cross the stream.
I hate it when my Schwartz gets entangled with another.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks, everybody.
But it was pretty good. I sat on some panels, talked to some people, asked a question to one of like the Lucasfilm story gods, the canon dudes on a comic book panel. So that was pretty cool. Wish I could remember his name. It's Pablo.
Escobar?
Sandoval?
Pablo. I don't remember his last name, but he was really smart and knew a lot about Star Wars. Anyway, also there you can hear Spencer Mullins back on the show.
He's mulling around, mullins in around here.
It's been quite a while, guys. I know.
That's your fault. We tell you every week to come back, and you're like, no, I got too many things I got to do. I got to make that money.
It's true. That's exactly right. That's exactly the truth.
And
Gotta
then
make that
you
money.
do come back, and you're literally phoning it in.
I know exactly right. Yeah, I may not sound exactly great, guys, but yeah, I'm on a phone right now.
No, your voice is fine, Spencer.
All right. Like I know my voice is fine. I'm just saying it may not sound as good as if it was like in person.
My question is, are you wearing sunglasses right now?
You know what's funny? I'm not wearing sunglasses, but I'm wearing headphones. They're like wireless headphones, so they're like hooked up into my ears.
Why is that
I'm
funny?
running through my phone wireless.
Well,
It's not funny. It's not funny.
Well, you said it was funny.
It's not funny. It's
Funny?
What, like it amuses you? Like I'm a clown?
I find you amusing? Huh? Yeah. No, if you actually saw me, like, okay, so the headphones have like this clear thing that goes around your neck to hold in the wireless piece. That way it's just not dangling around your neck. So I can see myself in the mirror right now. I look ridiculous.
Well, that has nothing to do with the wireless headset, though.
No, it does.
All right.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
All right.
Oh, I hate you, Jordan.
Nah, that was great.
Now, normally this is the part where I go to the guest and let them go first, but since I know what Spencer's been playing, and it's the same thing as myself, we're going to tag team it. So with that in mind, Dylan, let's jump over to you, because you've been playing some good stuff.
You've actually been playing games.
I've actually been putting in some time.
I need a new wife, Dylan. Can you help me out with that?
Well, yeah. You will have to deal with the aforementioned existing one first, though, and I will leave that to your own devices.
Oh, so I should never mind. I can't continue this. I'm feeling bad.
I was going to say, be careful what you say now.
Right. I was trying to give you a segue into your game.
Well, I'll get to that one. One of the first ones I'm actually going to talk about is America's Army Proving Grounds.
Oh, so this is the game that the Army uses to recruit young children.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, this is the game that the Army uses to brainwash and desensitize people so that they can be turned into killing machines.
I think Battlefield does
Sure.
that.
Or is that a different one?
No, that's all.
I say Battlefield, Call of Duty,
Yeah.
FPS.
At least that's what my mom used to tell me when I was a kid and wanted to play those games.
You're gonna becoming an army man.
Desensitizes you to violence.
Now shut up while I punch this donkey, Mom.
Jordan was playing very different games. Anyway.
I remember that one.
Anyways, continue, Dylan.
So it's, first-person shooter, aforementioned. It's a little more tactical. It's not as, well executed as other mainstream AAA releases like Battlefield, stuff like that. It's pretty good. I'm having a lot of fun with it, actually. I did play America's Army when it first came out way back in the day. That was confusing as all get out. The graphics on this look better than that, obviously. It's just another America's Army game. If you like stuff like this, it's up your alley. If not, you're not really missing out on, and it's not something that I would nominate for Game of the Year by any means. But it is fun. It does give you that slightly more technical gameplay than some do, not even close to Call of Duty. Call of Duty is just run and gun, lone wolf stuff. This is more, you have to work as a team. Several different ways to complete various objectives, but all in all, it's still a very basic game, I think. But still fun nonetheless. So if you're interested in something like that, sure, pick it up. It's free, so it's not like you're going to be breaking the bank for it or anything. But check it out if you want. If not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
And that's only on the PC, right?
I believe so, yes.
Take my advice or not. Who cares? Fuck you.
I don't care. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. I don't even freaking care. Let's see. Another one I've been playing is Ant War Domination. It's extremely simplistic in and of itself. You're in charge of an ant colony. There you go. Have fun.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, it's, very comic-y, it's not cel-shaded, so it's not like comic book style. It's just for 10-year-olds, Still, I just mindless clicking is what I do.
I was going to say, what was your thought process on buying this game? I'm looking at it right now.
Well, see, what he did was I had this logic once where I bought this huge bundle of kids games because I was like, oh, eventually I'll have kids and then they'll play these. And my wife goes, no, you're not buying that because you're just buying it to have games. And then I realized she was right.
Yeah.
This looks dumb as shit, bro.
Yep. It's not, I only have 96 minutes into it, and 99% of that is click, 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 click.
You and those clicker hero games, man. Fucking Advent Capitalist or what? Adventure Capitalist?
Adventure Capitalist and Clicker Heroes and.
I think Advent Capitalist would be good. Like every time you click it, a piece of chocolate just falls out of your computer, like an Advent calendar.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That was a stretch, Jordan. Seriously.
It was from my mispronunciation of that stuff. No one likes me or you. Yep.
So anyway, another game I've been playing. I put a lot of time into this one. It's called Rift.
Oh.
MMO, right? On the PC.
Yes.
Oh, I remember Rift.
I hear the story is full of holes.
At the behest of Dave Calloway, another guest that the listener has been hearing lately. I'm having some decent fun with it.
I showed my wife jump in and play with you. She played that game for years.
No kidding.
I bought her a GTX 670 so that she could play that game on the highest settings.
Nice.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So, it's still
understand.
the same. It looks good. It's an MMO. There you go. I'm having fun with it. You can have various characters, warrior, healer, blah, blah, blah. It's your run-of-the-mill MMO. Another one that I would like to mention, though, that I'm actually putting a lot more time into is called Skyforge.
No, don't do this. Do not give Ryan ammo.
And it looks great. It looks amazing. And I am having fun with it. You can actually swap between classes at the click of a button, at the press of a button. It's like doing all the dungeons in like WoW or Diablo,
Mm-hmm.
Minus all the go kill 10 of those, go fetch me my piece of cheese, all those stupid things. You just literally run around killing stuff, and it's pretty fun. The tech trees, which if you guys, I think it was, I can't remember which one of the Final Fantasies it was. I think it was 10. Kind of reminds me of it, where you just have an obscene tree for abilities.
Yeah, that was 10.
Yeah, that's it. That's in this game. It's not as big, as dramatically as large as that one, but it's still pretty hefty. Like I said, I haven't gotten too far, but it looks absolutely great. It's fun to play. Controls are a little weird in terms of like your abilities are numbers and letters, and then your attacks are either left or right click, and combinations of left and right clicks, like left right or left left right or left 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 right or all lefts. Anyway, those are your different attack combinations, and then on top of that you have the 1 2 3 4, and then there's like C, or I can't remember which one it is, but it's a lot of fun. It looks gorgeous. Is I think the main selling point to this game, though. It looks absolutely stunning. So check it out. A lot of the NPCs are voice acted. Your character does not say a word, which is fine. You don't really need to hear your response to it. It just tells you pretty much the gist of what you're saying. But yeah, it looks incredible. It plays pretty well. I haven't played it with anybody yet, so I can't tell you how the multiplayer is as of this moment. But I do plan on playing with some people. Ryan DeBrawl is one of those people. Hi, Ryan. Who just actually recently built a new computer, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact that vicariously through you, he asked me questions.
Yeah. I mean, I helped him when I could, but there were a lot of points where I was like, I don't know. I was half awake. I stayed up till 7 a.m. working on this thing. But yeah, it is very comparable, if not better, than my computer. Although I think my benchmark 3D Mark 11 score is actually higher than his, if I remember right. But I don't.
So forgive me. I don't actually know Skyforge. I'm not up on what actually the gameplay is for Skyforge. Skyforge, right?
Yes.
What is the actual? What type of gameplay is Skyforge? Like, what's the gameplay like?
You know, how do I explain this? The real-time, live-action, eat the living crap out of stuff. But it's got, the healer, it's got the same mechanics as doing a WoW raid. If you guys have ever played WoW, like the tank goes in and draws aggro, the DPS just beats the living crap out of them. If the DPS draws aggro, the tank uses their redraw tension kind of thing. Healers obviously heal.
I never played
it's
WoW,
good.
So that's part of the reason why I'm not hip on that whole scene.
I apologize.
But as soon as you start talking about that stuff, as soon as you start explaining it, I knew what you meant. I gotcha.
Cool.
Right on.
All right, Dylan. So you've given us the hors d'oeuvres. How about the main cuisine here for what you've been playing this week?
Boy, 2 more things. One is Jordan's roommate, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, no, I was going to talk about this one. Screw you.
Okay, fine.
I don't know.
No.
Are you going to talk about M2?
Yes.
Yeah, give me that one.
So then I'll let you talk about it. Go ahead.
I haven't played it yet, though. I was just excited to play it.
I've put 2 minutes. I've put 2 minutes into it, really. Anyway, so yeah, Magicka 2.
Yeah, Rob, who never played Magicka 1 with me.
I did at your wedding.
Once.
Well, not at your wedding.
You played
but
once.
when I was visiting you for
At your
wedding.
You were standing there at the altar on your phone.
I wasn't paying attention. I was just playing Magicka at your wedding.
Oh, that's why you missed the cue to give the ring over.
Hey.
Wait, was that the game that was on the phone where you had the different cards?
No, that's something else. Magicka was a game where you had elements that you combined together in stacks of 5 to make certain spells, and I actually gave it away.
We'll get to it.
To what?
Sorry. My bad.
I mean, Jordan probably can explain it better. I never played the first one, and I've got like 2 minutes into this one, so.
Yeah, so it's a game where you play as wizards, either co-op or versus friends, and you use stacks of what was that?
I'm just laughing because the possibilities are endless in this game.
Oh yeah, so the different combinations of elements cause different spells to form. So you have 5 slots you can fill, but then combining certain elements causes different things to form. So for example, you can use beam as your base for beam element, and then you can say fire and water, which will make steam. So now you're making a steam beam. Yeah, right. And then you add electricity to that mix. Now you have a lightning steam beam, and then you add death to it. So now it's a deadly lightning steam beam. And you're doing this on the fly. Like, it's not like, I choose this with a click, I choose this. You are putting you're putting inputs in from QWERTY and ASDF. And you have to memorize these and put these together to cause these things to happen. And you can change the different spells that you put out, and you are usually as much of a danger to your friends and yourself as the enemies are. It is great. And they came out with a second one.
Friendly fire is on, is the way I'm going to summarize that.
Oh yeah, completely. Like if you rain down meteors, like you'll probably kill the entire team. But you can rain down meteors. Or if you like Chris has this game down to a science, which is really difficult to play with him because he'll just destroy you and everybody else. Well, we should play Dylan, you and I, so we can both have the same learning curve.
Yeah, that'd be good. I agree. Because I remember working at the hotel back when I did, hearing you guys have some very interesting exchanges over this game. Or was it Magical 1?
Magical 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can like make a beam and then put healing on it and heal your friends from a distance. Or use the mine element and make a lightning exploding healing mine, which will blow the shit out of you and heal you a little bit.
What system is this on?
This is on PC.
PC, indeed.
Okay.
And it's a third-person top-down. You can have, I believe, up to 4 people.
Yep.
And you're obviously delineated by your colored robe. And like Jordan said, you can choose to do a beam or you can imbue it to your sword.
Yep. You can either make like an area effect. You can imbue it to a weapon. You can make it a beam, or you can set it on the ground.
How are all those things, like the different allocations, the 5 slots? How are they decided? Like, are you given a list?
Nope. You can pick. You have a list, but they're tied to like Q, W, E, and R, and then A, S, D, and F. So when you hit like Q, that's fire. When you hit R, that's water, and that makes steam.
And they're preset. Like
correct.
The keys never change.
Correct. Those just stay.
Gotcha.
Now, what happens with it is up to how you cast it. So if you hit spacebar, it's an area of effect. If you hold shift and spacebar, then it puts it on your weapon. If you hold control and spacebar, then it becomes a mine.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so you have all these different ways of doing it.
Yeah, they have it bound on the mouse now, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like clicking the middle button does one thing, right-clicking does another. It's interesting. I'm still trying to learn it.
Actually, that sounds more accurate. Spacebar was just your area of effect.
I have a weird question. Do the order of the different elements matter?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, you can chain them out really long to make some of these crazy ones.
Well, I was curious, like if you did water before fire, or vice versa, or add in a certain sequence that it changes the spell effect.
Yeah,
or
correct.
Changes how the spell enacts. I mean, you know what I mean, though, right? Like
yes.
How it's actually
the order you add those elements will determine whether or not at all, if it does, the spell actually happens.
For example, if you wanted to make a lightning, or like that spell I told you before, a lightning steam beam, you have to do electricity last, because if you have water, you'll shock yourself. So it has to be steam. Or if you're covered in water and you try to use electricity, you'll shock yourself.
I get you. So there's a little like not physics. What am I thinking of?
Physics. I guess it'd be.
It's kind of physics, but
like
there's actually like chemistry. That's the word I was thinking of. Chemistry. There's some chemistry in there where you have to figure out, will this actually potentially harm me?
Yeah, so like if you accidentally get wet and then use electricity, you'll hurt yourself. So what you have to do is cast fire on yourself to dry yourself off. And it won't hurt you, but it'll dry you off and create a little steam cloud.
Yeah, you have a heal spell, by the way.
Yeah, you do. But I was talking about to get yourself not wet anymore, so you can use electricity.
Right.
I have literally accidentally been wet and then tried to cast these lightning spells. And so you can do lightning, and it just makes it stronger, right? But every time I was like, la, 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 and then I just died. I'm like, what happened? And Chris is just cracking up. He's like, you were wet. And I was like, oh, just fried myself.
Is it visible that you're wet?
Yeah, you're dripping. But this game is chaos. Like when there's a lot of stuff happening, it's hard to tell what's going on because there's particle effects everywhere. There's lighting effects everywhere. So I couldn't really tell what happened. And all of a sudden I'm just like, and died.
Right.
One time, how'd it go?
Interesting game.
Thank you.
So one more time.
Yeah, it does seem like it could be, and I'm excited. I'm grateful to Chris. Thank you, Chris, for buying this for me. That's the first. He's the second person to ever buy me games on Steam. Jordan being the first. Thank you, Jordan.
You're welcome, buddy. This came out the day after my birthday.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing it.
I didn't realize I got it until I sat down earlier, actually. I didn't realize he'd gotten it for me. So I'll have to thank him as well.
Dude. So then the
Yeah.
coup de grace, I guess, of this whole thing.
Wouldn't it be a ta?
Sorry, Rob.
Coup d'etat?
No, continue.
So I guess the big elephant in the living room at a party is a game that it was definitely
What the fuck
impulsive
buy?
purchase. It was an impulsive purchase, to be sure. I was going through, and out of nowhere, I started reading reviews about this game on Steam, and they were very funny. And it's a game called Kitty Powers' Matchmaker. And you literally play a matchmaker. It is not very hard at all. In terms of the concept of it, you get people together, and you try to get them to like each other. You are in the ear, so to speak, of one of the people, the one on the left, and you kind of help them get through their date. Various scenarios will come up. An ex could show up. You have to memorize the way the waiter looks because they might forget what the waiter looks like. So then their date will say, I don't remember what the waiter looked like. Do you? And then the person will look at you like, oh crap, you know. You have to remember phone numbers that the waiter give you just in case they want a taxi, what the weather was like, what they're wearing, their hair, their makeup, their eyes, earrings, facial hair, etc., so on and so forth. This game is not just hetero. There is bisexuality and homosexuality in it. It is not adult-oriented, though. It's not too terribly risque. There's no nudity. There's no foul language.
No, there's just like really there's
definitely
innuendo.
innuendos.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
There are definitely innuendos. The reason I bought it was only $10, and like I said, the reviews were hilarious. And it turns out it did very well. Out of the 267 reviews it has at this moment, 95% are positive. So,
Yeah, it's really funny, and the systems all seem really fun, and it's all well implemented. Like it's a really good game.
it is. It's a bunch of mini games, pretty much, is what it is. And it's fun. It's a game that doesn't take itself seriously. It knows it's absolutely ridiculous. And when you kind of just, you both admit to that and you go from there with the same understanding, it can be extremely hilarious. There are some funny things that happen in this game that I don't really necessarily want to talk about here. There's anything you could think could go wrong on a date, they pretty much got it in here. So it's a lot of fun, though. I would actually recommend this. It's very funny. Kitty will kind of chime in. Your boss pretty much will kind of chime in and give one-liners and stuff, and it's funny. It's definitely humor-oriented, but the game sounds easy. It definitely is not. I thought I could just cruise through this game, be like, okay, this is stupid, why'd I get it? But I have found that I've already got 2 hours into this game, and I have almost failed several dates.
Would you say Kitty Powers has its claws in you?
Yes, Jordan.
Yeah.
That was a good one. A good pun.
That actually was pretty good.
Kitty,
Like,
claws.
that
Or
was
would you
actually
say
pretty good.
would you say it's perfect?
That was terrible, dude. Stop.
No, it's a good game. If you're looking for a cheap laugh, it's great. It's only $10 right now on Steam, so check it out. I'm loving it. I'll probably still. Oh, and there's another part of it. So you make your character, your little profile, and if you want, you can disable this feature. But if you want, your character will be given a different name, so you can actually name it yourself. But your character will go to other people's dating places. I don't know what you want to call it. Matchmaker
Whorehouse.
headquarters, and they will become a guest /
Contestant?
sure, I guess if you want to call it that, in their game. And it's interesting. I haven't had any news on my online thing yet, but I figured it would be funny just to see what happens. And turns out there's also leaderboards for teams, and it looks like they did a really good job of kind of diversifying this game, and it would be interesting to see if other people got in on it, and then if and when and where and how my online self just turned up and how poorly it went.
That would be pretty funny.
Wait, hold on one second. I have one question for that. Do your online self, like your character, is that you? Does it show a picture of you, or is it just the character that you created with your name?
Just the character you created. You can make it look nothing like you.
Right.
Do
okay.
you create any sort of profile for this character as far as its personality or anything?
Oh, yes. They ask you a whole bunch of questions, and believe it or not, they actually got it pretty darn close. I was impressed. For the kind of questions they asked, they nailed me down pretty good.
So you answer these questions and they're like, "Oh, you're adopted." You're like, wait, what? No, what are you talking about? You're an African American Polynesian person. No, none of these are right.
No.
That's what happened if I answered it. Those things never get me right.
So wait, so I'm curious, what did it get right? Like
a lot. Like I'm a romantic. I'd have to open the game to see it all. There's 5, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 categories about the people involved, the customers, or what do you want to call them.
So does this environment change? I guess you may not know this answer, but does it change according to your answers? Like whether you answered certain questions a certain way, that the other characters that you go on dates with, are they reacting in the same fashion as you answered your question?
You don't
Does
play
that make
yourself.
sense?
You don't play yourself.
Oh,
Yeah, you're the matchmaker.
You are the matchmaker.
Yeah,
you do
you're
not
the
play yourself.
matchmaker. I'm sorry.
Matchmaker.
Come into your agency and say, "Hey, my name is Bob Dole, and I am a
Condoleezza Rice fan."
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
and I am a
So it really doesn't
librarian, and I like
right.
long walks on the beach, football games, and cheese spread, and I'm looking for insert sexuality here, and then you go and help them. If you want, you can eventually get to the point where you have like 3 people in your waiting room. You can pick between the 3 which one you want to help. And then you can choose what restaurant they go to, sort of. You can unlock more and more. You start with 3, and you can just unlock a bunch more. And based on where you take them determines the level of difficulty of the games inside. So in the American restaurant Route 66, it's an easy level compared to Italy, which is a medium level. The games are a little more difficult. And as you unlock more venues, more crazy things that could happen on a date become unlocked.
Like what kind of crazy things?
Like I said, after I had purchased 2 new venues, finally an X started showing up. And the guest, the person, my client's date asked, who was that? And I had the choice of either telling them to tell the truth and say it was an X, or I could tell them to tell a lie. And if you tell them to lie, you have to spin a wheel, and it's random as to whether or not they succeed or fail. It's a wheel, and there's like on Wheel of Fortune, and it's like certain numbers are successes and others are not. And it just spins, and then wherever it lands is if you succeed or not.
Weird.
Did you tell the truth, or did you lie?
On some of them,
You have to
yes.
decide. You have to kind of make a judgment call.
Are there quite a few dates? Are there a lot of dates?
Infinite.
Okay.
Like it's so long as I have people in my lobby, quote unquote, then I've got jobs to do. I've got work to do.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, anyway, we should probably be moving on here. That's all you played, right, Dylan? That was the last one. All right, sweet. So, Jordan, I know you've played a couple things. We covered Magica. What else has been taking up your time this week?
I am convinced that one day I will convince Dylan to come and play Quake Live with us.
Man, I haven't played Quake Live forever.
I was actually playing the other day, and I had a positive
me neither.
KDR.
Oh, yeah? How's the
Yeah.
Steam version?
Those people must have sucked.
I never was able to make it work. I do have it, though.
You should be able to now you have the new computer.
Yeah.
It worked fine. It's a little weird with the resolution, because it takes your native resolution and then puts it an inch lower than it should. So Ryan DeBrawl. So for example, I can't see all of the Quake Live logo at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, there's a glitch.
Yeah. So Ryan DeBrawl tried to install it as well, and his native resolution is 4K, and it is so small. And it doesn't actually account for the fact that it's so small. So whenever he tries to click on something, nothing works because it's oh yeah, there's no way this is actually this small. So we're just gonna make it normal size, and you can't click on anything.
Those scaling issues with older games are exactly why I haven't upgraded to 4K yet. Just any older game that has a non-scaling interface is just going to be all kinds of fucked up. Or if it does work, you're not going to be able to read what anything says.
Right? It's so tiny. But I was playing it and had a great time. Like I said, I finished 3rd in the match with a positive KD, 37 and 34 or something like that. So it wasn't that positive, but hey, it was positive. And those, like I said, those people must have sucked because I love that game, but I am not that great at that game. But if we can get Dylan and Ryan and Rob and Spencer and Colin and Mark and all these people to like want to play the game, then I will buy a year subscription to it so I can host the games.
I'm down.
I think that'd
Yeah.
be fantastic.
Do it after the 9th. That's when I actually get my internet back.
Yeah, see, Dylan, are you going to be the only guy who's like, oh, no, nope.
Well, what about Dave and John and Chris?
Dave would play, Chris would play, I don't know, John.
It's really fun.
You know
dude.
John.
Like,
I don't-
doesn't
I don't
sound
know
very fun,
John.
but it's a lot of fun. I'm telling you right now, it's a blast to play.
Oh, yeah, like Dave was like, where do I get that? Like, he saw me in it, he's like, I want it now. I want it inside me. I was
Oh,
like,
whoa.
Jesus!
Steam can put the Quake inside you.
Through your eyeballs, right? The photons that are coming off your screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well,
Headshot.
I'll just say it now. Just finished downloading.
Yay! He just free to played it. That doesn't sound as good. But I'll purchase a subscription so we can all play together instead of having to join servers. I can host the server. So I'll pick that up here next payday. And that'll be sweet. Yay. We can all play games. Big surprise. I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid.
Where you at?
Africa.
What story mission are you on?
Maybe we should wait till.
Well, I mean, like number.
16.
Numbered. Oh man, you got a ways to go.
I've been doing side missions. I literally
Right?
only have like mine missions and like the challenge shoot things on Mother Base missions left.
Gotcha. I'm trying to remember if you've surpassed my favorite mission yet or not.
Give me a hint.
Foosball
Children.
tournament.
Yes, I have surpassed you.
Okay. No, like that's my favorite mission.
I'm
I'm much further than that. I'm in the 20s.
Okay, so if that's mission 14. So spoilers for mission 14. Just throwing it out there because I thought this was funny. I want to talk about it. So when you hear the sound of the, and then you can come back if you're fast forwarding. So I played that mission, right, and I failed once because some guy snuck up on those kids as you were escorting them out. Now, so the next time I went through, I told them to stay and left the one kid that you have to carry there. And I went and I'm clearing this area out, and then I realized these kids are following behind me. Like, they don't listen for shit. Like, why do they give me the option to tell them to stay if they're not going to stay? And so I get all the way there, and I'm like, okay, sweet. I got all these kids here. I killed everybody. Now we're at the thing, and Pequod's like, I'm inbound. This is Pequod. And then, like, a little light just goes, ding. And I was like, oh, shit. I left that one kid just laying there all alone, broken, like, freed, and then just sitting right inside that little barred gate. And I was like, oh, no. So I had to run all the way back and hope that Pequod just didn't decide to leave.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the second half of that mission is whatever. Yeah, like the kids are kind of hard to boss around. It's kind of linear. But the first half, when you're infiltrating that camp, is just laid out so well. And I ghosted it. I ghosted the first half. I did get spotted getting the kids out, which really sucked because then you can't get an S rank. But, man, just knocking everyone out and just taking my time and going all through that early part of the camp. And then I didn't know what I was looking for. I just found the cave, and I thought I found like a side thing. I was like, oh, fucking cool.
Me too.
Yeah, and going down that is just, oh, yeah, that's my favorite level so far, my favorite mission.
When I do story missions, everybody, like when I leave, that place is a ghost town. There's not a body to be found.
Because you exfiltrated everyone?
Yes, I Fulton every single person.
Yeah.
I actually just let go 250 people.
How do you let go of people?
So it was to the point where I could not, I was concerned because I was Fultoning people, and it's like, oh, you have too many people. So someone was sent away. But I couldn't tell if they were sending away the person that I was Fultoning or if they were sending away the lowest person in my waiting room. So I went to everybody in my waiting room that wasn't like, that didn't have a B ranking in something and got rid of them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've run out of facilities lately, so I don't have enough resources to get them back. So I've been having to send my guys out. You know how you can launch your squads on their own missions to get the more resources that I'm short, so I can like start building more facilities to house these fucking guys.
Did you know you can play as your combat guys?
I did know that, but I haven't actually done it yet.
I did. I don't know why you do that. Like, some of
don't
them
know either.
have bonuses, like
Some-
you Fulton faster, or like bulletproof or whatever, or like resistant to damage. But like, I don't know if like, is there any real benefits doing that? Like,
yeah,
it's not like you
people-
lose Snake.
Some people want to play as a woman, and I've also heard that some of the soldiers are actually higher level than Snake, so you can actually give yourself some advantages by playing as a soldier.
Huh.
But I haven't done it at all because I just kind of like being Snake. You know, I've played all the other Metal Gears as Snake. God damn it, well, except 2. God damn it, I'm playing this one as him.
So I fell asleep in my chair last night while watching Metal Gear Solid stuff, and I'm of the sound mind now that YouTube needs to have spoiler tags that don't autoplay stuff when you fall asleep in front of your computer watching YouTube.
Oh shit, did you get
Yep.
the Phantom Pain spoiled?
Yep.
That sucks. I think I did too. I read
can
something
turn off
someone said
autoplay.
on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, interesting, sweet. Like, I can't wait to see the road to it. But at the same time, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, beep.
yeah, now you can tune in and listen because
Yeah.
we're gonna spoil all of Metal Gear Solid.
No, we're not.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, pretty much. I've been playing The Room on my Note 5 that I just got. This thing is huge, gigantic phone. It's like a phonelet that I carry everywhere and can barely get out of my pocket.
Phablet, I think they call them.
Phablet?
Yeah.
I call it a phonelet, but that's just me. Phablet, I can see it. Would it be Ghetto Fab?
I don't know.
That's Fabtabulous.
All right. Once again, I have no idea what Jordan's talking about. But,
Words.
He did play some video games, and I also played some video games. And more than play some video games, I built a desk specifically for my VR stuff. So now I have.
I helped.
Spencer did help. Spencer did help indeed.
That's
And
not
also,
a game, Rob. That building things is not a game unless you're like digitally doing it.
I'm getting there, motherfucker.
It was,
Okay.
it was
Keep your
part
pants
of
on.
the game.
So I got my steering wheel and gear shifter and pedals all set up on their own place, so I don't have to tear them down and set them up every time I want to use them. And I went to play Assetto Corsa, and it doesn't work anymore because the Oculus 0.07 or 0.7 update came out and broke everything.
Yay!
And the Assetto Corsa VR support sucked anyway. So, oh well. I just bought Project Cars a couple weeks ago. I hadn't talked about it yet, so I installed that, and the Project Cars VR support is amazing. It works perfectly. You open the game, and it works just like VR should. So, what do you think, Spencer? Pretty amazing, right?
Definitely, dude. It feels like you're in that car, like even more than Assetto Corsa did. And like you said, it works.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing. We didn't have to do anything. We booted it up and it was on. Like
Yep.
we didn't have to adjust any settings. It was quick. The hardest part was putting the desk together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely think Assetto Corsa has better physics, but Project Cars has better graphics. So a little bit of a trade-off there. And the physics aren't bad in Project Cars. They're a little more arcadey, but you still kind of feel like you're driving a real car. And,
Sorry, go ahead.
well, just VR is the way to do racing sims. It just is. You can look around all inside the cockpit. You can lean right up close and read the gauges. You can lean over, like look at the glove box, stick your head out the window. But from a gameplay perspective, the super nice thing is you can look ahead. So as you're approaching the turn that's coming up, you're always looking ahead like you would when you're driving a real race car. So super, super handy.
What I was going to say is the only issue I had with that game was the car selection. And I know you had the same issue with it. Like it wasn't quite as expansive as Assetto Corsa, but like we talked about, it's possible they could be expanding that as we speak.
Yeah, we don't know. I do miss Ferrari. I think not having Ferrari in a racing game is kind of a bummer. I understand that that's an expensive license and it probably comes with lots of strings attached. But no Ferrari, no Lamborghini, no Chevrolet. So they have Ford, but no Corvette, no Camaro, which I think the Corvette in particular has such a storied racing history, and they're doing so well in the Le Mans classes the last 10 years that it's really a bummer not to have them. But they do have good stuff, though. There's lots of BMWs, lots of McLaren. All the McLarens are in there, including the F1, which is my all-time favorite car. You have all kinds of track specific, like Formula One cars. So there are a lot of vehicles. It's just, some of my favorite brands didn't make the cut, which is a little bit of a bummer. The other thing that we played is SOMA.
Yeah. Maybe
Yes.
guys who did the original the words people, sorry. The original Amnesia, right?
Yeah, Frictional Games.
Yay.
So they were responsible for the Penumbra games and then Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And they have been working on this game for a very, very long time, since pretty much right after Amnesia came out, I believe. And it's finally here. I was looking forward to this game. I had seen some of the marketing materials, but I didn't really know what to expect. And then some of the reviews came out, and they were positive, but there were some mixed ones in there. So I was kind of cagey when I fired this one up, going, is this going to be good? And it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. It's really, really, really good. So
I need more. Tell
I'm
me.
very happy with that. So this game is much more story driven than Amnesia was. It starts off just in a room and you're kind of learning about the main character who's been in an accident recently and he needs to get these brain scans done because he has a brain hemorrhage that's still bleeding and the doctors haven't been able to fix it for him. So I'll spoil just the first little opening sequence here. So you drink this weird fluid and go down to the doctor's office. And well, actually, he's not even a doctor. He's a grad student who's kind of doing this as his final thesis project.
Huh.
And you sit in the chair and he scans your brain and then black. And then you wake up in a chair 100 years in the future on a base at the bottom of the sea that's all gone to hell.
Huh. That
So,
sounds fantastic.
So it's a survival horror.
Yeah, it's first-person survival horror, much like if you've played the Amnesia games or if you've played Outlast, Alien Isolation. These are all kind of games that are in the same vein that Frictional really pioneered. They're really responsible for the growth of this genre. And also the other game that kind of pioneered it was Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth.
I want to play it.
It's really good as well, but this is better.
So I just bought it.
Which one?
Nice.
Soma?
SOMA.
You will not regret it.
Yep, good purchase.
Play it in the
It's,
dark with headphones and no light on.
Well, that's the interesting thing about it. The game is scary, but it's not Amnesia scary.
I never found Amnesia to be that scary. Dylan, there's another one. Go buy Amnesia: The Dark Descent and tell me if it's scary, because I think I must be broken, because everybody seems to think it's scary, and it does nothing for me.
No, that's pretty common. There's lots of fake internet tough guys who lie like you do.
Keyboard warriors.
I just didn't get it.
Now I need to play Amnesia to see how I felt about it.
I personally found Amnesia scary. I found it a lot scarier than even Outlast, which after a while kind of just became a haunted house ride that I really loved. But Amnesia to me is a very stressful experience.
I just installed Amnesia.
So let's compare this right now. Outlast, Amnesia, and SOMA. Which one has given you more of a scare than any of the others?
Well, definitely Amnesia, but
Okay.
SOMA does an interesting thing. It's much more story driven. The story's really good. Has a very interesting plot. It keeps you guessing. And even when you do figure it out, it's still kind of like, oh, that's cool. Like really interesting setting, which is a little bit Bioshocky, but it's really more futuristic. They don't do the whole Art Deco thing this time around under the sea.
Under the sea.
It really, the scares ramp up. So in the beginning, they're few and far between, and then it gets more and more intense. And now we're in the last probably quarter of the game, and it's like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. And now it's starting to feel more like Amnesia.
Okay, because I haven't played Amnesia, but this besides Outlast is probably my first horror game.
I found
Or
Amnesia
second
to be
horror
like easy to forget.
Really?
Yeah.
He's making a stupid joke.
Oh my God, that's so bad. Jordan,
Yes?
stop.
Hey, how do you fit an elephant in a Safeway bag? You take the S out of safe and the F out of way.
Anyway,
Nice.
SOMA. So
There's no F in way.
I
we got it, Jordan. Thank you.
I had to help the listeners.
Okay. Anyway, so this guy's kind of found himself thrust into this really crazy situation, and there's shit happening that at first I thought, like, this is fake. He's imagining this because it made no sense. Like, there's robots, but they think they're humans, and they don't understand that they're robots. So I'm like, well, clearly Like you go outside in the water and you can't swim. You have to like climb over things. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this game? But there's explanations. Don't worry. So they really do a good job of keeping you guessing and subtly introducing things that seem crazy and then are explained to still be crazy but make sense within the context of the world. And you kind of have a sidekick that you meet relatively early on who's a really cool character, and I really like what they've done with her. And there's a lot of banter back and forth that feels kind of naturalistic. This game isn't overly dramatic in the way that maybe BioShock can be at times, or most horror games, really. I shouldn't pick on BioShock because BioShock's very well acted. But this game, the writing and the delivery feels more like it's meant to be realistic than it is dramatic. It's not trying to be a movie, which was kind of refreshing, actually. You don't play a lot of games like that. I do have a few problems with the writing. Sometimes it can be a little too heavy-handed, like hammering the themes down your throat. But for the most part, I really liked it. Like I said, the plot's awesome. And the game is scary. It's really well art designed, and it takes you to a lot of interesting places. Like there are already 5 or 6 set pieces from this game that stand out in my mind as things I'm going to be thinking about for years, like his touchdowns. Like, oh man, that part was really cool.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure.
So
Great
I don't
set
know.
pieces.
Yeah, anything else you wanted to add, Spencer? We cranked on this game.
There's probably a ton of things.
Talk about the puzzles.
Yeah, the puzzles are really good. They're not too difficult, really. Like you're not gonna have a whole lot of issue with them, but they do make you think. They make you think about like what are they wanting me to do here, and some of them are super easy, which I'm like, as I told Rob, I'm not too big on super easy puzzles, but I do like a puzzle to make me think, and some of these puzzles are definitely on that side where they're gonna make you think. They're gonna make you think, what do they want me to do here? And some of the situations, like they don't explain, like throughout the whole story, they don't explain a lot of like there's not a lot of backstory unless you read. I mean, there's some backstory with reading a lot of the documents, but there's a lot of stuff that you have to just figure out. Like there's not a whole lot of like holding your hand throughout the game. So I dig that. Like I love that. Like discovering the world is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of undersea like environments that just so beautiful. It's a really good game.
Yeah, and on the puzzles too, I want to point out, like, you're not going to get stuck. they're
No,
not hard.
you're not going to get stuck.
But they're well designed and they're fun. They slow you down exactly enough to kind of be interesting, and then you get past them and move on. I hate it in games like this, especially horror games, where you come on some obtuse fucking puzzle where you have to backtrack 900 yards 10 times, and it's just like it brings the game to a screeching halt. That's not the case here. These puzzles are pretty fun, pretty well designed. Definitely more so, I would say, than Amnesia. And I think this game's an improvement across the board. I think it's Frictional's best game, and if this had come out last year, this would be in discussion for Game of the Year, I think. This year, the competition's a lot stiffer, but it's definitely like this is a 9 out of 10 type game.
I haven't played Amnesia, but this game kept me engaged and totally in the zone the whole time while we were playing it. Like I never deviated from it whatsoever. Kept me totally in.
Yeah. So, and Jordan, I know you like BioShock and System Shock. There's a lot of influence from those games here. Particularly, you'd think it'd be more BioShock because of the underwater setting, but it's actually, the end of this game starting to feel a lot like System Shock 2 in a lot of ways. I won't spoil the specifics on why that is, and I don't think it's like a rip-off of System Shock 2, but definitely a lot to chew on for System Shock fans, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's fun, dude. Check it out. It's fun.
Yep.
I like I said, I actually we got a review copy, and I begrudgingly gave it to Rob because I want to play it, but then I figured Rob would appreciate it much more than I would. But it sounds like I should pick it up.
I think you should.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Especially since we've got this little lull, unless, I don't know if you're picking up the Uncharted collection, but if you're not, we have a little lull for a couple weeks before the next big game comes out. So it'd be a perfect time to plow through this. And it's not terribly long. I think it's probably going to fall in the 10-hour range if we're as far through as I'm kind of thinking we are. I'm getting the impression we're in the third act. So anyway, that is it for our games. So that means now it is time for Extra Points. part of the show where we talk about the book, movie, TV show, or other piece of non-video game media that we were into this week. So since I went to you first, Dylan, last time, let's jump to Jordan first. What was taking up your time?
Do I have to talk about this?
No.
Oh, I may or may not have watched Portlandia.
Okay.
Does anybody know what this is?
Yeah, Fred Armisen.
Yeah, so is he from something else?
He was on SNL for several years. Armisen, sorry, not Armiston.
Armisen, okay. I didn't know what I was getting into with this. I just knew that it was something making fun of Portland. And the fact that you say he's from Saturday Night Live makes a lot of sense now. Because it is skit based, like heavily skit based. Each instance of an episode happens to have an overarching skit that's going on every like 2 or 3 skits. But man, is it weird. Like, put a bird on it, cacao. Like, these are like catchphrases I could use if you've watched a show and you'd be like, oh yeah. Like being like not from, but living in the Portland area, it is kind of interesting. Like looking at, I'm not sure if that's how the world views Portland or how that guy views Portland or what, but
I've heard that Fred Armisen is a big, big fan of Portland. So I think it's kind of like making fun of the thing he loves, you know?
Would that be satirical?
Sure. Yeah, that can fall under satire. Absolutely. And it totally is. Like, it's satire and it's parody. And I've seen a couple episodes of it and it was pretty funny. I'm not a big fan of the stuff that it's lampooning. So it's like, there's only so much I can really take before I'm like, all right, I've had enough of these fucking people. Yeah, I don't know. So are you liking it?
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting going into it, but I am enjoying it very much so. Like I'd recommend people check it out. Definitely.
Excellent. All right, well, Spencer, how about yourself, sir?
I have no internet. I got nothing right now. Let's see. What was the last thing I watched? You know what? I have nothing new. But what I've gone back to is Lost, the show.
Oh, I got excited for a sec. I thought maybe you meant The Land of the Lost.
No, sorry, no. That's the last thing I saw because it's on Netflix, and I decided to watch that because the last time I watched it, I enjoyed it.
Okay, so you've seen the whole show? I've
seen the whole show, yeah. I decided to rewatch it because I didn't find anything else that was appeasing.
Gotcha.
At the time, yeah, I know I'm boring. I like to watch the same stuff over and over.
Yeah, I do too. It's not boring at all. Makes sense completely.
He does it by the numbers.
Dude, you seriously have conned so much in my book right there. Right by that comment. I dig that.
Dylan.
Yo.
Your turn, sir.
So I was sitting there on Netflix, and every single movie I tried to watch, I couldn't help but make these obscenely sarcastic comments, and that immediately exploded into a disturbingly huge urge to watch something specific, and I know it's not on Netflix. Hopefully I don't get anybody in trouble with this. So I went to YouTube and watched probably 8 straight episodes almost, it feels like, of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh.
Jeez, Rob would love you for that.
I love that show.
I love that show. I actually watched one earlier today. I watched 2 today.
Which host? Was it Joel? He was at Comic-Con, by the way, in Salt Lake.
I watched both Joel and one after him, I think it was.
I think there were 3, weren't they?
First 2.
Yeah, but total, like on the run of the show, weren't there 3?
Yeah, there was Joel was the first, then the second guy.
Mike?
Mike, yeah. Those are the 2 that I watched the most of. But today I watched San Francisco International Airport, or San Francisco International, and The Final Sacrifice. So I love those guys. Those guys are so freaking funny.
Yeah.
Like,
for anyone,
I think that's where the base idea for a meme was born. That's the original meme. Those guys just commenting on movies it's an hour and a half of live memes. It's great.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, this was an old Comedy Central show where the main character and 2 puppets just watch terrible movies, and you see their silhouette at the bottom of the screen like they're in a movie theater, and you just sit through and watch the movie and listen to their colorful commentary.
Horrible movies. These absolutely horrible movies. And so you kind of pay attention to the movie to see what, just to track what's going on. You don't have to be so nitpicking about knowing exactly every detail, because they will just sit there and make fun of it. And so if you have those friends that do that and you like it and they're not around or whatever, or you want to become someone like that and just kind of become witty and quick thinking on your feet, just watch episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000. If I have the chance to, I'm going to try to find them all on DVD and buy them.
Yeah.
Like, I love those guys. Those guys are so funny.
That's good stuff. Anyone who hasn't seen that needs to check it out.
Just this random one-liners, these witty one-liners, man.
Yeah, and such bad movies. Manos, The Hands of Fate, I think is one of the worst.
Overdrawn at the Brain Bank, starring Raul Julia.
Lots of
still going, is it?
No,
sadly. I'm hoping, like, if I ever get the ability to, I will start the next Mystery Science Theater 3000.
You'd have to talk the guys into coming back.
Stuff like that. I love stuff like that.
They have riff tracks, I think is what they're doing now, where you can download the sound file of them riffing on movies and then you just sync it up to the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing that. It was been 5 or 6 years since I looked into that, but yeah, so they did continue doing their spoofs. On to myself, I finished Star Wars Aftermath.
Oh, how is it?
I like it. I thought it was pretty good. It did. My biggest problem with it, I guess, it was not his writing style. A lot of people have been whining about Chuck Wendig's writing style, saying he's a bad writer. He's not. If you think Chuck Wendig's a bad writer, I'm sorry, you're wrong. He's a good writer. He just has a very specific style. And I understand it's not going to be to everyone's taste, and that's fine. But I will stick up for the writing in this book. It's not bad by any stretch. Like, he's very colorful writer. He's good at getting his characters across. He's good at painting a scene. So that wasn't really my issue. My issue was just that it jumped around too much. The book has ADD, and you have these tiny little chapters, and there's so many characters that you're being introduced to all the time, and that we're trying to keep track of. And then you throw in these interludes that they put in that are just a few pages of various events happening throughout the galaxy, just kind of showing what it's like after Return of the Jedi. The Emperor is gone. The Empire is not. Everyone's scrambling. What's it like in the day of an average Joe, seeing all this turmoil unfold, which is a really cool idea on paper. But when you have a book that's already kind of struggling from erratic pacing, it just makes it just loses steam every time you jump to one of those chapters, even though the chapters themselves were pretty good. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid book. I'm pretty happy with it. And it ended on kind of a cliffhanger that hints at maybe some characters or a character that a lot of people really like coming back. So, yeah, I'd check it out if you like Star Wars. And I'm going to be doing lots of Star Wars stuff between now and the release of the movie, because I'm just kind of all in at this point. I'm ready for it. I'm keeping up on all the stories that are coming out.
And then when does that movie release?
Week before Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah, so keep an eye out. Tickets are going to go on sale soon. Anyway, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to reshuffle our personnel a little bit here, and when we get back on the other side, we're going to be talking about game stories. What are our favorites, and what makes a good game story? So stick around for that.
The Game Out Loud Podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud Podcast.
And we're back. So over that short little break, we got rid of Dylan. We got rid of Spencer. Jordan and I are just going to take it from here.
Yay.
So we're going to be talking about storylines, our favorite storylines in particular. And we also reached out to the twits.
The twits.
We reached out to Twitter, the Twitterverse, and kind of got some of your opinions as well on this stuff. And we got some good suggestions. Pong, thank you, Vimesy. That's
I hear that's really kind of a back and forth story.
Yes, exactly. So obviously that's a classic that really set the standard for storytelling in video games in 1971. But also Journey, which I thought was an interesting suggestion. Because
does Journey have a story? I mean, I never played it. I mean, I know that's one of my sins of the
play
last.
It? Good Lord.
No.
It's an hour long. What's wrong with you?
But I didn't I feel like I missed the boat on it, and I'd rather have everyone else's great experiences and then not have mine.
What boat? There's no boat.
Yeah, the boat, you know.
That ship's still a sailing, man. They even have it on the PS4.
Oh, yeah, but am I gonna get the I don't know. I mean, honestly, I didn't really like a lot of the games that came out of that developer. They're pretty.
Like Flower.
Yeah, Flower, Flow.
Flow, yeah, that was the other.
Yeah, like they were really pretty. I just didn't like the game elements of them, so I never really got interested in Journey until we had already talked about Journey like for a couple weeks, and I was just like, man, like $12, and at the time, like $12 was a lot to me. Like $12 for an hour. I mean, I could go be a fat kid for $12 and be way happier for more than an hour.
Yeah, you're wrong, but that's okay. We'll just let you be wrong. And move on to some of this other stuff. Enslaved. I never actually played Enslaved.
I own Enslaved.
But you haven't played it?
You know me. I'm like probably half to 3/4 of the way done.
Oh, okay.
It looks pretty good. It was really fun. Like third person platformer puzzle story of the adaptation of Tale of the Monkey King, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never played Enslaved.
You're supposed to know these things, Rob.
I don't know anything about Enslaved. I know that it has a huge cult following.
I know they banned it like, what, in 1800s?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know nothing of this game. For some reason, I was thinking it was like a Viking game, but maybe that's just because of Enslaved, the metal band.
That's probably accurate. No, Enslaved is like I don't know, it's like a fantasy post-apocalyptic world where you're like this, literally a guy named Monkey or Ape or something, and you're escorting this woman to wherever she needs to go. And I don't remember much more than that. So obviously, I'm probably not that far into it, honestly, given the fact that I don't remember jack shit about it.
All right, well, we'll skip that one. Witcher
obviously.
Series.
Yes.
Obviously, that's one.
They even have books.
big
Those
touchstone.
started as just stories.
Yeah. I will never read those.
Really?
I'll tell you that right now.
I have The Last Wish. You want to read that?
No, I've heard the translation's really bad.
No, just learn it. Learn Polish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if I could read Polish, I would totally read the Witcher series. But since I cannot, I'm not going to slog through some Western interpretation of it. Dark Souls / Bloodborne, that's obviously a great choice.
I don't understand the Dark Souls one because I've never beaten anything or gotten any sort of story out of it. But Bloodborne, hell yeah, way to go, Vimesy.
Well, yeah, it's just more of that, but obviously a different setting.
But better, more interesting.
I don't know if I'd agree with that, but Bloodborne's great, don't get me wrong.
I think it's just that I can play Bloodborne.
The more interesting thing to me about those games isn't, like, it's not the story itself, it's how the story is expressed. And, like, the way they get that across and how hard it is to figure out and how it's often unclear, but, I don't know. They're like packed with information, but it's all kind of hidden at the margins. So that's pretty cool. Also, Eric Meyer on Twitter said the BioShock series.
No, that's mine.
Well, yeah, we're gonna stop that one because
no, Eric Meyer, you are a bad man. Not really, but that's mine. You can't have it. I can have the BioShock series. Series? I can have the BioShock series.
yeah,
Indeed, this is my series. Yeah, get out.
the game is your foot.
Indeed. Sometimes you seem to slap it around a little.
I'll take anal bum cover.
The rapist.
It's therapist. Anyway, the Portal stories, yeah.
Wait,
I'll buy
Portal
that.
has a story? Like, Portal 2, I
Portal-
didn't think had a story, did it?
What?
I've never beat it. Every time I get
Okay,
close,
stop
something
talking.
happens. Something happens. I don't know what it is.
Stop talking, Jordan. Stop talking. Just sit in the corner.
But I don't want to sit in the corner.
See, a few weeks ago, I made a joke about how there was no way you were going to beat Metal Gear Solid. You're like, I don't. What? Why do you say that? This is why I say that, Jordan. You're the man who beats no game.
No, I beat the Order. I'm almost done with Bloodborne.
The Order 1886. All 3 hours of it.
Yeah. The real kicker is the fact that I want to beat Portal, but the problem is every time I get to almost at the same spot, something happens to the system I'm playing on. So my first PS3 died. My PC hard drive or motherboard failure, and now I haven't had the heart to go back and play it again. I mean, what I should really do is I was just after where they introduce all the different goos and stuff. No, that's earlier on. I beat Cave Johnson.
Yeah, the Cave Johnson area is where they introduced the goos.
Yeah, because I'd beaten that.
Okay.
Like I'd seen the decline of Cave Johnson.
So you're probably in the final act.
Oh, damn it, don't tell me that. Every time I get that far.
Well, at any rate, clearly you've experienced enough of the story to know that's a magnificently written game. And what are the names of that? Chet Falasek and Eric Wolpaw. Wolpaw, those two guys that wrote it. really super talented. They were the Old Man Murray guys, that old website, satirical video game website back in the day. They worked on, or at least Eric worked on Psychonauts, I think was his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of his early games. So yeah, like those guys are awesome.
I beat that game.
So those are great choices. Psychonauts has a great story. I don't know
I
if
beat
I'd
Final
put it.
Fantasy VII. Don't say I don't beat things. That's just generalization. It's a fallacy.
Okay, Jordan Rusnak has beaten 2 games ever: Psychonauts and Final Fantasy VII.
And all the Jedi Knight games.
With cheats.
So, still beat them.
I did go back and play some Jedi Outcast recently, and that game's still a lot of fun.
That's the one where they actually introduced, like, the different combat styles for the saber, right?
Good saber combat.
I have that game. We should see if it holds up for playing together.
We tried that.
Did we?
Yeah, since the podcast has started, you and I have played that game online together.
I thought we tried and it didn't work.
I think we finally got it to work, and it took so long to get to work that by the time it did work, we were, like, over it.
Fuck it. I do remember making levels for that game where I would, like, design them after, like, the Duel of the Fates area, but I would make, like, the different sections of that bridge out of glass, instead, like, glass tag instead of, like solid surface tag. And if someone pissed me off, I would just, like, throw my saber down at their feet and make them fall through the glass.
Nice.
Yeah, I was a jerk.
I know.
Still am.
Okay, so I think that's all the suggestions we got. So let's get to ours. You mentioned BioShock. So give me the BioShock monologue pitch here. What's the deal with BioShock story? Why is it so great?
Because it's 2 words. Because. Oh, I need to elaborate on that?
If you could, just a little.
Okay. So ever since I first played BioShock, there's something about that world that just kind of gripped me. Kind of was like, yeah, look at me, I'm cool. And I didn't really understand what I liked about it until when I first played it, until I played it a few years ago. I really like the ideals of that game and the idea that anybody who reads good literature will know that this is a common trope, but the best of intentions fall to dystopia, right? Like, I like that idea. The fact that Andrew Ryan wanted to create this world where there was, like, you lifted yourself up by your bootstraps and you were as good as you made yourself, right? So you could pay people, but, you know, if they worked hard, they would basically just want to go out on their own because you wouldn't pay them as much as they felt they were worth. And the fact that Andrew Ryan created this world and his ideals were pure to begin with. And as time went by, you see the degradation of Rapture into this, dystopia where, because of the way the system worked, mainly because when Ryan created Rapture, he didn't want anybody to know it was there. So once you went to Rapture, you couldn't come back to the normal, or go back to the normal world. And they had all these people there that helped build Rapture that weren't these go-getter types, that were just like, well, we're here to do this, and they could never leave. And they basically caused a class war, and it ended up causing Frank Fontaine to become the leader of these people at the same time as trying to make himself rich and manipulating the system. And the thing that Ryan wanted to have people to have the freedom to do, once Fontaine realized the fullness of that, Ryan tried to shut him down because he realized that he would usurp power from Ryan, who was trying to get away from the Pinkertons and from the governments and social helping and reform and the New Deal and all this fun stuff. And when you go back and there's a great book written by John Shirley. It's called BioShock, underpinning the Rapture. Or sorry, Rapture, not the Rapture. You can find it on Amazon. It's like $8 for a mass market paperback. It's really good. It talks about Andrew Ryan from the beginning and then basically ends with BioShock starting. And the story is great. The gameplay to me in that is great. The twists and turns. Rob, would you kindly tell me about the things you liked about it?
Well, that sure was a loaded question, because I actually kind of disagree about this game. I do think BioShock's a good game. It's very well written, but the overarching story isn't what captured me with it. In fact, I think that's actually usually one of the weaker parts of Ken Levine's games.
Well, let me point it out. I like the backstory. I like the gameplay, the setting, the actual story of BioShock, like of things that are going on. I find that as cool because it's related to this awesome area and backstory.
Okay, I'll buy that. Because a lot of people focus on the plot of that game. It's like, oh, and there's this crazy twist. It's like, okay, yeah, but, crazy twists or whatever. A twist does not alone make a great plot. But what Ken Levine does really, really excel with is, like you said, world building. Rapture's a super interesting place. The game's thematically rich. It's exploring all these ideas of objectivism and totalitarianism and does it with interesting characters. And he's really good at writing interesting scenes that stick with you. Like, that's what sticks out to me with BioShock the most is, like, the scene with the golf club.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. Or coming up on that lady, this little set piece where the lady is sitting there cooing to her crib, and then you kill her and you find out there's a gun in her crib.
Yeah. Or just the intro elevator ride, too, is another one. Like, that, to me, those little moments are what Ken Levine's super good at. And he's also a really good acting director. He tends to get really good performances out of his actors, which helps a lot. So I don't think I personally would have picked this for one of the best stories ever just because...
No. We weren't talking about best story ever. We were talking about our personal favorite stories.
Okay. But, 6 one, half a dozen the other. System Shock 2, pretty similar storyline. Hits a lot of the same beats.
Not as pretty
Same
graphics.
scene. Happened, what was it?
96?
9 years earlier. So, something to think about with that. You replace Shodan with with Fontaine, and there isn't really an Andrew Ryan analog in System Shock 2, but you replace the collectivism of the many with the objectivism of Rapture. There are lots of parallels, and even like both games take place on this post-disaster structure that you traverse with an elevator, and they both have hydroponic levels. I mean, they're really, BioShock's almost a remake of System Shock 2 in some ways, and I kind of like System Shock 2 better.
Yeah, you keep telling me that, and I've played some of it. But we could just say, when was this made? When was System Shock 2 made?
I think it came out in 99.
Oh, so we could just say that they just pulled off Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand?
Ayn Rand, sorry. Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, which is a very, very boring book and a very, very, very boring movie. I tried to watch it when I was in this whole, BioShock, I went through a whole 6 months of need dystopian things. BioShock is awesome. Based on Ayn Rand. Wait, Andrew Ryan? What? No. Tried to read the book. I was just like, God, this is really dry.
Yeah, I thought the first page of Atlas Shrugged was extremely well written, and it was all downhill from there. It's a really terrible book.
If you read the story or the flavor text on Amazon, intellectual mystery story that integrates ethics, metaphysics. What is that word? Epistemology.
Yeah. Well,
epistemology,
yes,
politics, economics, and sex.
It does all those things in the form of a really terribly written thriller where people give 50-page monologues. It's just bad. It's just bad writing.
Rob, what's epistemology?
Epistemology is like the study of knowledge.
So it's this. Wait.
It's what can be known.
Well, that's an interesting idea. I never heard that term before.
Yeah.
Did you learn that term from this book?
Maybe you should open a book sometime, Jordan.
I opened a comic book earlier.
Oh, good.
They didn't cover epistemology.
You should have opened The Watchmen then.
I did. I've read The Watchmen. I own The Watchmen.
Okay. Well,
do they use that term? I don't remember.
They don't use that term, no.
That's a good comic though. I do like the ending of the book, the movie better though.
I don't really have a strong opinion on that one way or another. I didn't like that movie very much.
Yeah, so you didn't care for it very much, did you?
Nope.
They suckered me in right at the beginning with Simon and Garfunkel playing.
The movie's really close to the book. I feel like you needed an acting director who could pull off really subtle performances to really sell that book and make it work. And Zack Snyder was not that guy. But Jackie Earle Haley's fucking awesome in it.
Is that Rorschach?
Not that much, yeah.
Yeah, he's my favorite character in that book and the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me back my face.
So.
But, BioShock is mine. Go look up Rapture if you like BioShock. It's a good precursor book. There's even like flavor text from the game in the book. And basically, it's the beginning. It's the inception of Rapture all the way through the fall. So the stuff they hint at, the stuff you learn about in the actual game is put into a novella form or novel form, not even a novella. And it's really good. So check it out. $8 well spent. How about you, ma'am?
All right. Well, do I want to talk about Planescape Torment with someone who's never played Planescape Torment?
Well, this is your chance to try to trick me into playing Planescape Torment and
I
try to
would
convince
not
me.
bother doing something so futile.
Well, if it's good, I'll play it. But the problem is I don't think it's going to be as good as you think it is. Have you played it recently?
Yeah, play it once every couple years.
Oh, yeah, but you still dig on those isometric view games. I've only dug on one of those in the last few years.
Okay, well, Planescape Torment's better than Divinity Original Sin.
Really?
Let's get that right out of the way. And I love Divinity Original Sin.
Did you ever beat it?
I did not. I was going to jump back into it, and now I'm just kind of waiting for the
second one.
The director's cut.
Ooh, what is that going to have in it?
I don't remember exactly, but it's greatly expanded.
A non-broken progression? That'd be great, because I can't play that. I can't beat that game. They really need to have that game so you can export your character, like they used to in the Baldur's Gate games, where you could like create a character and import them in or export them. Like, damn it, that made me mad that I couldn't just create a character and join my friend and play, because now it's stuck on his system, and I can't play it anymore because he won't play it because he's pissed. But anyway, Planescape Torment. You keep telling me this game has a really good story. Like you're like, oh, it's. You try to sell it under the fact that it plays like Baldur's Gate, and I just don't dig it. But story I do dig, and if there's a good story, I can make it through gameplay I don't like. So what about this story is it that's grabbed you for all these years and repeat playthroughs?
Well, there's several things happening all at once that kind of coalesce into making this so great. First of all, you have the Planescape setting that's just super interesting.
It's like
right?
Purgatory, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. It's more, I mean, it's technically D&D, but it's kind of like at the intersection of all planes in the universe.
Whoa.
So you're in this very interesting city called Sigil, which is like the city of portals. And it leads to everywhere in the universe. But a lot of times it's not super clear what you have to do to make the portal. Sometimes you might like accidentally stick your head through a window. And since you did that at 12:03 on a Thursday, that triggered the portal, and then you'd be off to some crazy plane somewhere.
Weird.
So it's this fascinating city. And then it was also written by Chris Avellone, who's a big name on the internet now. He's writing every RPG ever. In fact, he just recently announced that he's going to work on Divinity Original Sin 2 or Divinity, whatever that game ends up being called. Mm-hmm. He worked on Wasteland 2. He worked on Pillars of Eternity. Just any RPG basically that anyone's working on that goes to Kickstarter, Chris Avallone's going to be writing. So he kind of turned a lot of RPG tropes on their heads, and it makes every turn in this game feel fresh because there are no stock situations or stock characters. Even your wisecracking sidekick has a really dark backstory that you can find out if you delve into it. You meet a lot of interesting characters. There's a kind of a fallen angel character. There's this.
Isn't the skull named Morty?
Yes.
Such a dumb name.
There's I don't know. Like you go to a brothel at one point called the Brothel of Slaking Intellectual Lusts, and all you do there is debate philosophy and history and stuff with the women. Like there's no sex.
That is the lust.
Intellectual, yeah. Intellectual lust. So it's just lots of cool little things like that. And then on top of that, you have this very personal story about the Nameless One. You're not out saving the universe or whatever. You're really just trying to find out who you are. And the Nameless One is this immortal being who has been born and reborn and lived so many lives that he's done everything imaginable, good, bad, everything in between. And he's completely scarred over from all the times he's died. Like basically you start the game in a morgue and you wake up and they've seen you there before. It's not a real surprise. And a lot of times when he dies, he loses his memory. But when you die in the game, you never get hit hard enough that that that's an issue, so you just wake up back at the mortuary again. And sometimes you even progress the game by dying. That'll trigger certain events, yeah. So the places the Nameless One goes to find himself and the things he learns are all really, really well done, and there are twists and turns. It's all kind of, it all has some philosophy and insightful things to say about life boiling under the surface of it. It's not just a cool plot. This is a game that has some insights to it.
So wait, is he like the epitome of epistemology? What was that word?
Epistemology.
Epistemology. Yeah, he's trying to learn everything there is to learn.
No, epistemology is like the study. It's like, what is knowledge? What can be known?
Yeah, wasn't that what this guy would be fitting?
So think The Matrix, right?
What does that have to do? What does Keanu Reeves have to do with anything? Wait,
I don't need
wait. I think I got.
I don't have time to explain
I got it. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does sound fun, sound good. Like I like good stories. I like the idea of the fact that this guy just, when you die, it doesn't actually have an end game. Does it have an end game state? I'm
trying to remember. There might be some areas where if you die, the game ends. But generally, you just wake up in the mortuary again. And is it like D&D where you create a spellcaster, warrior, a thief, or something like that, or what's the setup? Yeah, kind of. Except that's also rudimentary. That it doesn't really end up mattering. You can build your character, and he has different tattoos that he gets that give him different abilities. And he doesn't really learn new abilities so much as just remembers ones that he already had, because in his different lives, he's been everything. He's been a wizard. He's been a warrior. He's been a thief. But that aspect of it isn't really the point. There isn't that much combat in the game. What is there is just kind of, it works exactly like Baldur's Gate, but with way fewer options. So definitely the low point of the game. This is the guy who's on the cover, right? Planescape Torment. He's the blue guy. Yes, on that terrible cover, the Nameless One. It was not a significant commercial success, but received widespread critical praise and has since become a cult classic. Absolutely, and is available on fine retailers online such as GOG.com. Sweet. If GOG has it, it has to be good, right? Right? No. Oh. That used to kind of be true, though. When GOG was just first like starting Steam. Out. Well, I don't think that was ever true of Steam, but it's certainly gotten less true of Steam over the years. That is true. But no, GOG, like the early stuff that they got was all good stuff. And then as they've gotten more rights and kind of expanded the old games program, yeah, there's definitely some crap sneaking on there. I'm looking at you, Rebel Assault. That game was great. I don't care what anybody says. I bought that at a Costco. That really, I mean, yeah, that's where that game should have been sold. Yeah, but I got it in the same pack as TIE Fighter. Oh man, TIE Fighter's great though. Yeah, so I think they were trying to confuse me. They're like, oh, buy TIE Fighter and get this Rebel Assault game. Like they were like literally like taped together. Like Costco didn't have a Costco deal made for them, so they just made one themselves. Huh. And it was pretty funny. I'm going to stop looking at the wiki for this because I feel like I'm going to spoil something. Yeah, you probably will. And I don't know. I think after we finally do Deus Ex 1 for our classic game, hopefully maybe by the end of the year, Planescape might be a good one to look at next. Deus Ex, the original, man. Oh, with the Arnold wannabe Gunter. Is it Gunter? No, what's his name? Yeah, Gunter Herman. Yeah, was it Gunter? Oh, okay. Yeah, you got it. I really like the story in that game too, but it's not really great. It's more like batshit. I just remember like bull rushing. That's what I was looking for. Bull rushing a turret and having my limbs all like my legs blown off, and then trying to crawl towards it and like blowing my arms off. And like for some reason it never killed me. It just kept destroying pieces of my body and then just shooting me. That's a feature I'd like to see come back to the Deus Ex series. I'd like to see the locational damage return. Me too. It is interesting. Like you jump off a building and hey, you don't die, but your legs are broken. So you either need to heal them or you're going to be moving pretty slow. Hey, guess who did the Polish localization for Planescape Torment? Who? CD Projekt Red. Yeah, I'd heard that they started off actually doing localizations and doing like cracking games and selling them on the Polish black market.
Yep, that is exactly what I have heard as well. Who knows if that's true, but that is such a great like, yeah, we're a game developer now.
And now they made the fucking Witcher 3, which put the entire industry to shame earlier this year.
Was it Activision or EA that started the same way, like where they basically reversed engineered a cart and then started selling carts for Nintendo that were not like sanctioned by Nintendo?
I've never heard that story, so I'm not sure. It does sound vaguely familiar, but I can't. Yeah, I can't place a name to that.
Oh, why do Electronic Arts for Genesis have different cartridge sizes?
I don't think that's what we're looking for. Anyway.
When EA inquired about publishing its games on Genesis, the executives felt their proposal would be met with open arms. Instead, they embraced the EA's proposal. Sega America president had other ideas. Sega wanted to emulate the Nintendo's licensing agreement system, leaving little to no negotiation room for third parties.
This has nothing to do with that.
That is very true.
Okay. Anyway, if you want to find us, you can email us at gameoutloudpodcast@gmail.com. Why don't you shoot us an email? Hold on. Why don't you shoot us an email with your favorite game story? And we want to hear some more from you guys. You can also find us on Twitter at GameOutLoudcast. We're on there. I always feel frustrated by Twitter, though, because people tweet at me and I want to have long conversations. Then I end up saying, like, sweet, because of the character limit. Right. So if you want to talk to us a little more in depth, definitely shoot us an email. We're also on iTunes, so please remember to subscribe, rate, and review. And, of course, we can always be found on www.bagofgames.com/podcast and geekcultureradio.com. So with that, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.